Let me warmly welcome you all for the subject CL1 Corporate Financial Reporting. I'm your lecturer Dasun Mendis. Talking about myself, I am an executive director and group chief financial officer of one of the leading conglomerate in the country, which has about 10 companies. In addition to my full-time job responsibilities, I have been teaching this subject, financial reporting, over last 18 years for both local and international professional qualifications, right? That's about me. So what is important is what is the content of the presentation. So this is actually the course introduction for the subject CL1. So where we need to cover in this presentation, we should know what is your exam is. So the syllabus weightage and the paper structure. Get to know your examination. Then course content. So there are two courses in this particular subject, right? The course is structured in two modules, I would say. Essential theory module and the exam preparation module. So we have to look at these two modules. Then prerequisite for examination success. From your end, to successfully complete the examination in this examination cycle, what I'm expecting for, right? So at the end of the presentation, I'll explain you what I expect from you to successfully complete the examination. So these are the three areas which I'm going to cover in this introductory presentation, right? So first of all, let's move to the get to know your examination. Now, if you look at your syllabus weightage of this subject CL1, so there are four main areas of the syllabus, right? First of all, starting with Introduction to Financial Reporting and Sustainability Reporting, so which carries 15% of the syllabus weightage. What do you have there is regulatory framework for the financial reporting. Things like corporate governance regulations, the listing rules applicable for the financial reporting, Companies Act applicability for the financial reporting, regulatory aspect. Thereafter, the hot topic is about the sustainable reporting with the introduction of SLFRS S1 and S2, right? So this topic, sustainable reporting, is actually very important in the current context. So two standards, one is in relation to the sustainability related disclosures, the other one is climate related disclosures. In terms of the financial reporting, we have to discuss the standards, these two standards in detail under the sustainability reporting. So as mentioned, so the total weightage of this introduction to financial reporting and the sustainability reporting is 15%. Okay, that is the first area of the syllabus. Then the second and the largest or the biggest area of the syllabus is actually the accounting standards, application of accounting standards for the financial reporting. So we have about close to 40 accounting standards which we need to learn, right? So we need to go into details and learn, because what is tested in the examination is actually the application side, not the pure theory. So how to apply the theory what you learn into a scenario, right? So there our course starts with this particular section, right? Because this is the most important area which has the highest weightage. So I'm starting the course through this accounting standard section, right? So we'll look at what the standards are once we go through the course, and as mentioned, we'll discuss in detail. We'll look at the questions relating to each learning outcome of these accounting standards, and so as I mentioned, this is very important. Then third area of the syllabus, which has the second highest weightage, I would say, consolidated financial statements. So when it comes to a group means when the parent subsidiary relationship is established, when one company controls the other. So these two parties are called as investor and investee. When the control relationship is established, so we call them as parent company and the subsidiary company. So for a group, how to prepare the financial statements, because you have already learned in your previous studies how to prepare the financial statements for a single entity. Now here, for a group, how to prepare the consolidated financial statement. There's a parent company and there are a number of subsidiaries. In addition to that, you have associates. You may have joint ventures. We'll look at these terminologies, right? Once we go through, if you don't understand at this moment, it's perfectly all right. We'll discuss from the beginning about the consolidated financial statement, which actually carries 30% of the syllabus weightage. Here we need to learn about the preparation of consolidated statement of financial position, consolidated statement of profit and loss and other comprehensive income, then the consolidated statement of cash flow. We had to look at the acquisition of subsidiaries, disposal of subsidiaries, step acquisition, different types of acquisition, mid-year acquisitions. So a lot of areas are there. So it's an interesting area. We'll look at this in detail once we go through the course. And the final area of the syllabus is analyzing and interpreting the interpretation of the financial statement, analysis and the interpretation of the financial statements, where now the financial statements are prepared for the stakeholders to make the decisions by looking at the financial statements, right? So the users of the financial statement would make decisions. It can be an investor, it can be a lender, right? Now, to make the decisions, what you need to do is these parties, these users are making analysis and they do interpretations. So for example, let's say one of the important analysis that we learned here is the ratio analysis, right? So you have the set of financial statements that you prepared. So analyzing these financial statements by using different types of ratios, which means profitability ratios, liquidity ratios, gearing ratios, right? Then analyze and interpret what it means, okay, whether the company is doing well compared to the last year, or it can be compared to your competitor, compared to your industry. So you interpret, so you analyze and interpret the numbers what you analyze. So that is actually the fourth and the last section of the syllabus, so which carries 15 marks. So altogether 15% for the introduction of financial reporting and sustainable reporting, 40% for the accounting standards, 30% for the consolidation, and 15% for analyzing and interpreting the financial statements. That's how your syllabus weightage is, right? I hope you are clear about that. Then we also need to look at the exam format, right? So how the questions are tested in your exam paper. So before moving to the paper structure, you know, this is 3 hours exam paper. So the pass mark is 50, but don't target it for 50, right? Target it for 90 or more, then at least you will be end up by getting 50, okay? Then this is actually an open book examination. There are recommended open book materials that you can bring in, like accounting standards book, then the sustainability related standards S1 and S2. So those can be brought into the examination, but my advice is don't rely on that, because exam is heavily time pressured. You don't have time to read books in the examination, so that ensure that you know everything. So unless otherwise there's an absolute necessity, don't waste time by referring these books. So I have prepared my lecture series in such a way to give you the confidence that without wasting time by referring to these books, you can successfully attend and complete the examination, right? Okay. So the point what I wanted to mention is, some people are trying to make a short note out of the tudes what I give, but don't do it, because these slides, the PowerPoint presentations are the short note. So you have the accounting standard book. Out of that, I have prepared this presentation. For example, in the accounting standards, out of the accounting standard, I summarized and prepared this PowerPoint presentation. You should not try to make another summary out of it, right? That is very important, right? So coming back to this, it is a recommended open book examination. Then moving to the paper structure. So you have two sections, section A and section B. Section A, 50 marks. How these 50 marks are consist of is 5 compulsory questions, right? Each question carries 10 marks, right? Each question carries 10 marks. And these 5 questions are compulsory, and these are mini scenarios, right? Not complex, complicated scenarios. Then section B, yet again 50 marks, which has 3 questions. Out of that, you need to attend only 2 questions. So per question, 25 marks. 25 marks. Right? So 25 marks, 2 questions, 50 marks. So these 2 questions are actually complex scenario based questions for you to analyze and apply your knowledge to the particular scenario. Okay, so these are long questions compared to the questions in section A, right? So now you know what is your syllabus weightages, and also you know what is the paper structure, how the exam paper would look like. Okay, so that is what you need to know under the get to know your examination, right? Then move into the second area of the presentation. I told you at the very beginning there are 3 areas for me to cover. Now we covered get to know your examination. This is done. Now I'm moving to the course content. So the course content of this particular module CL1 consists of 2 modules: essential theory module and the exam preparation module. So exam preparation module means the revision. So if you look at the essential theory module, so all these topics what we discussed under the syllabus: accounting standards, consolidation, sustainability reporting, then the interpretation and analysis of the financial statements, all these topics are discussed in way of recorded videos, which means you can access to these videos and watch these videos at any time, anywhere, any number of times as per your wish, right? So the plan is actually the admin team would upload these videos on weekly basis, specifically on every Friday. That is predominantly for you to watch these videos and complete during the weekends. But as I mentioned, it doesn't mean that you have to wait until the weekend or only to watch these videos during the weekend, because it's your convenience, your choice. You can watch these videos anytime, anywhere, any number of times, right? So, but my advice is ensure that you watch and complete the video before uploading the following video or next video on the following week, right? So then, even though this is the theory module, it doesn't mean that I discuss only the theory. No, I will discuss questions to cover each and every learning outcome of the syllabus. I have gone through the learning outcomes of the syllabus. We'll be discussing questions to cover each and every learning outcome. So some of these questions are actually exam type questions as well. So that means within the theory module even, we actually attempt number of exam type questions, right? So this is actually the theory module. Then the next module is the exam preparation module, the revision module. So why this is important is because some students are knowledgeable, they have good knowledge, but still they are not successful in the examination. Why? Because you don't know the exam tips and tricks, right? So basically in this module, what I teach you and what I guide you is applying the theory what you have learned to craft an answers to earn the full marks. Okay, so where I'll be discussing the exam tips and tricks. So in this particular module, there are recorded videos. In addition to that, we'll do a couple of live sessions as well for you to clarify whatever the doubts that you have, and also for me to provide you some exam tips and tricks. Okay, so that is the exam preparation module, or else this is the revision module. Hope you are clear. Now we completed the second section of the presentation as well, the course content. Now we know our examination, syllabus weightage and the paper structure. Then the course content, there are 2 modules, essential theory module and the exam preparation module. Then finally, what I want to discuss is one of the important aspects, what I expect from you to successfully complete the examination, right? So what are my expectations about you? First one is learning with discipline. This is what I mentioned. So we'll be uploading the videos on every Friday. So you need to ensure that you watch and complete the video during the weekend, or at least, in case if you can't watch during the weekend, at least before the next Friday, before you get the next video. So this is very important. So what you do is you have to allocate at least 2 hours per day until the examination. Last minute studies won't work, right? So because of that, the first thing is learning with discipline. Then passion and living in the subject. So I already told you, so last minute studies won't work here. You have to stay tuned during this 5 months period. Okay, so these are professional examinations, not like your O levels and A levels examination, right? You are a professional student, so that you have to ensure that you allocate sufficient time with your other commitments. You might have work commitments, you have family commitment, but still you have to live within the subject for this 5 months period without waiting up until the last month when it comes to the examination, right? Passion and living in the subject. Okay, you should have the enthusiasm to learn, right? Because this particular subject, what you are learning is actually accounting standards, consolidation, sustainability reporting aspects, analyzing the financial statements. Those are just not to complete your examination. That would helpful for your entire life up until you become to the very top of the organization. Maybe you would become a CFO, finance director in future. So the knowledge what you gather here in this subject would be really essential, really important for you. So because of that, it's very important you have the passion to learn, right, as well as you are living in the subject. The third thing is, I always encourage students to self power play and reflection, which means mind mapping mainly. So throughout my lecture series, what I would do is, once I do a topic, I will summarize the topic through a diagram. So after you study something, you put that into a diagram, or you prepare a summary out of it which you can understand. So this particular thing I'll be discussing, I'll be teaching with you all once I go through the videos in terms of the essential theory module as well as in the exam preparation module, how to prepare a mind map with regard to a particular subject after you study, where you won't forget that, right? Let's look at that aspect as well. And the fourth and final thing, what I believe as a prerequisite for you to successfully complete the examination is master the art of writing. This is what I said that earlier as well. Some brilliant students, they are good in theory, right, but not successful in the examination. Because why? They wait until the examination to write for the first time. Don't do it, right? What you need to do is at least couple of questions. At least you can do more, that is better. At least couple of questions you have to write by yourself and practice. So the questions what we do after watching the video, right? So select couple of questions at least and write your answers, and then look at your answer with the answer what is there in the tips, right? So when you are writing, so I slowly explain you how to manage the time as well. So if it's exam type question, so if it is 10 marks, so you should know, okay, how much of time that I need to allocate. So within that time frame, how am I going to write an answer where I can get the full marks? So that's why I said that. So watching the videos are not enough. Write by yourself and practice from the beginning. So these are actually the 4 areas what I expect from you to successfully complete the examination. Then if I go back to the syllabus once again, as mentioned, I'll be starting the course with this important area, accounting standards, right? We'll look at this section first, and thereafter we'll move here, the preparation of consolidated financial statements. Once we do these 2 areas, 70% of the syllabus is covered. Thereafter, we'll look at the other 2 small areas, right? So with that note, actually, this very short presentation, the introduction, thereafter we need to get into the business. We are starting the essential theory module after this video. So I wish you all the best for the examination, right? and ensure that you complete your CL1 subject during this examination cycle.